Hi there. This is a video on Jujutsu Kaisen's ending theme song, Lost in Paradise. It's part 2 in a 3-part series on stories about anime songs. Jujutsu Kaisen was one of the biggest hits of the past year, with the manga actually overtaking the mighty Demon Slayer as the best-selling manga in Japan for 2021. If you're like me, you're really looking forward to Jujutsu Kaisen 0, the prequel movie that's coming out in Japan on Christmas Eve. And let's be honest, the show would not have been quite as big a hit as it was without its banger of an ED, Lost in Paradise, by Ollie, or Alien Liberation International. I can't play too much of it due to copyright, but okay, let's see if they let me play that much. But every time that I heard those opening blasts, that closing theme song, it just made me want to get up and strut around with Itadori Yuji, Nobara, and Fushiguro. And then when Gojo-sensei busts through that door, the coolest thing in the world, completely in control of that room, it just makes you want to rob an old lady and commit credit card fraud. Wait, that's not right, but yeah, that's what happened. Ali made it big with their first single, Wild Side, which was the OP for 2019's Beastars, another anime that I highly recommend. Although it's not going to be for everybody. It's rated TV MA for a reason, and Jujutsu Kaisen has a lot of violence and gore, probably best for 16 and up. Beastars streams on Netflix, and Jujutsu Kaisen is over on Crunchyroll. I'll put links to both in the description. After Lost in Paradise became a smash hit in 2020, it looked like we were witnessing the meteoric rise of the next big thing in anisong and Japanese music. But then in April of 2021, news broke that Kahadio, the band's drummer, whose real name's Kahadio Shirai, had been arrested on multiple counts of fraud. Alex Mateo and Crystalline Hodgkins over at Anime News Network reported the following. In recent years, Japanese police have been investigating a rash of refund scams. In these scams, suspects pose as officials and promise government refunds to unsuspecting victims if they withdraw cash from ATMs or give their ATM cards to the suspects. Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department arrested Kahadio again later in April on a separate charge of fraud. According to police, Kahadio and his friends called an elderly woman in Osaka on March 3rd, offering her a refund of her medical expenses in exchange for her transferring 2.31 million yen, about 21,000 US dollars, to a bank account. The police added that Kahadio was witnessed withdrawing about 420,000 yen, about 4,000 US dollars, at a convenience store ATM the next day. So what do you do when your band hits it big? Well, apparently you throw it all away so you can swindle old people with health problems out of their money. Not a good look. Now, here in the US, if your band's drummer gets arrested, we just call that a normal Wednesday and move on with our lives. I mean, seriously, your band doesn't have any street cred until your drummer has been arrested and somebody has gone through rehab. But in Japan, even the slightest whiff of a scandal for any celebrity can cause sponsors to bail faster than if they're trying to dodge somebody with leprosy. Ollie was slated earlier in the year to perform the closing theme song for the anime adaptation of The World Ends With You, but after their drummer got arrested, they immediately lost their contract and they were replaced by a different band just days before the show started airing. Streaming services like Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube also pulled Ollie's music from their services, and the band's management put the group on immediate hiatus and terminated their contract with Kahadio. After a several-month break to kind of regroup and let things die down a bit, Ollie has resumed playing, of course with a new drummer now, and most of those streaming services have restored the band's music onto their platforms. Why did Kahadio risk everything after putting in all that work and effort to struggle through a musician's long grind out of obscurity? I don't know, maybe he liked grifting. Honestly, while I'm generally anti-credit card fraud and pro-old ladies, I don't know anybody who is clamoring for Ollie's music to be removed just because of this scandal. And really, as long as justice was served, I just want to rock out every time that Itadori busts through that door. So let me know what your favorite part of Jujutsu Kaisen was, and why it was probably Gojo. Don't say it was the panda, although I did come around to him by the end. Part 3 of this series on anime songs will look at Monster, and how an anime about a fictional murderer actually made money for a real-life murderer. You can check out the other parts of the series by tapping the end card. Thanks for watching, I'll see you next time.